Welcome.
Subscribe to the Rose Drop.
My name is Kendall,
And I'm Cheryl.
bringing you a sophisticated 20 questions about the Bachelor franchise. And I'm Kendall, and I'm asking this to my mom, Cheryl. Cheryl is my mom. Okay. Question one. What is your relationship to the Bachelor franchise?
Well, I started watching it in season 3, which was in 2003, with Andrew Firestone was the Bachelor at the time. And so you were probably only about 6 years old when I started watching it. And I've watched various variations of the show now since then, including the Bachelorette and also the Golden Bachelor series and Bachelor in Paradise. So I've been watching it for quite a while.
I started watching it when it became a sentient idea to me. When I found out when I was about 12, I was like, okay, this might be it. Actually, I might have been 11. Yes. And I was engrossed. It was just the perfect show. But I stopped watching it for a while because I didn't have a TV. Now I live with my mom. And of course, this is now a thing. Question two. How would you explain The Bachelor to someone who has never watched it?
Well, there is a single person, whether it be the Bachelor or the Bachelorette, and they date a pool of applicants and over several weeks, kind of an elimination process. They narrow it down to one person who, in the end, they typically propose to.
It's almost like the Hunger Games. Do you know what that is, Mom?
I've, I've, I'm aware of it. I have elected not to watch that one. I think it's more violent than The Bachelor.
Do you know what Battle Royale is?
No.
Okay, we'll move on then. Okay. You already answered this, but I didn't answer. Do you remember the first season you watched? Tell me what you remember about Andrew Firestone. Did he have tires?
Well, he does come from a family of wealth, and I knew about him just because he came from Firestone Vineyards, which was a big Northern California type of winery. But his family is into a lot of different things, and he is now, from what I understand, he has hotels and things like that. So anyway, he was known for being quite wealthy, and so anyway, it intrigued me, the winery and all that, and so that I was familiar with. So I'm like, else am I doing after work besides, taking care of kids and helping them with their homework and, walking the dog and all of the other stuff. This was kind of a lighthearted thing that I could do.
I started watching Jillian, her season,
Oh, yeah.
and it was like On the Wings of Love. And they just play it over and over. And it was just like our family song for a while. On the
Yes.
Wings of Love.
Self-love.
Yeah.
Yes.
You don't remember that at all?
No.
Okay. Okay. But I do remember Jason and Molly's season as well. Okay.
Yes.
Why have we watched The Bachelor as a family for so long?
Well, it's fairly lighthearted, and I feel like there's some teachable moments for my daughters, to be honest. Like, oh, that guy, don't ever date a guy like that, or those two girls, they need to get along and work out their issues and that kind of thing. So anyway, and I also like y'all's youthful perspective on things. I am a bit older than y'all, so it was
I
a
have a
good
younger
perspective. Yeah, we like to critique the outfits and that kind of thing. So that was all fun.
Yes. Next question. What is Bachelor night like at our house?
Well, it's fun.
For
First of
sure.
all, it breaks up the seriousness of the grind of a job and working and school, and it gives us something to talk about with, to each other. And from the clothing to the personalities to the parties to the group dates and things like that. So, it's something that we look forward to and we enjoy discussing as it goes. And laughing together and that kind of thing. Nothing's too awfully serious about it.
I also think when I was a kid, I don't know because I haven't been back since they aired anything except for Mellow in season and Bachelor in Paradise, the most recent season. But I remember when I was a kid, there was just something palpable in the air when Bachelor night, you know? It was
Bachelor
like
night, yeah,
the house would be kind of like dim. Maybe we'd have like some grilled corn on the cob and chicken or something,
yeah, for
cheeseburger.
sure.
And we'd all set up on the TV trays and we don't plan on stop watching it, so please don't stop producing it. Okay. What is
I
the
hope not.
appeal of this franchise?
I think, first of all, it's been on for so long. It's kind of a legacy thing. It's got its own aura about it. It is on network television right now, so I don't think it gets as raunchy, if you will, as some of the Netflix and some of the other shows that have young single people on them. Probably because of that. I actually like that. It's escapism. There's glamour. There's rose ceremonies. There's getting dressed up. And so, anyway, it's really fun to live vicariously through these people a little bit. Like, oh, look at them. They're at the mansion and they're going on trips and they're having a good time and they're being young. And and if it's the Golden Bachelor series, they're older and having fun, and so
It's just a beautiful show, and it's a beautiful mansion, and the legacy also is important because you can get these like old players from 10, 20 years ago and bring them back, and it just adds an
yeah,
interesting dynamic that other shows do not have.
absolutely.
Why has this show lasted so long?
I think a lot of it is there's a predictability about it, a predictable format. Like, you know what you're going to get. You're going to, on the first episode, you're going to get the entry of 2025, contestants to come in, roll up to the mansion, and they'll each go in, meet the lead and all of that. So the predictability of that, there's going to be group dates, there's going to be one-on-one dates. And I think that is part of it. People know what to expect. Also, to see things work out for romance is always the hope. That's why in a few seasons, there's been where someone didn't select someone or they didn't propose to them, and it's like that's what kind of we're watching it for. We're lost in this fantasy of the romance and like to see it in with proposal. And also, I think the whole culture of what they call Bachelor Nation, and that's like all the people that watch the show, have watched the show, understand it, know the players from the past, like you were talking about. You can bring them back, and we know who they are. We know who Trista and Ryan are. We know who Molly, is. We know Jen
And Jason.
Tran. I mean, yeah, and Jason.
Yeah.
And we know Jen Tran, and we know all of the players from the past. And I think the longevity of it is really an appeal.
I would agree with that. Um, what does The Bachelor do better than other reality shows? What makes someone understand the franchise after watching one episode?
I think it's the clear storytelling techniques they use. And the format of the show is repetitive, so like the rose ceremony, the one-on-one dates and that kind of thing. So I think you get the hang of it after one episode. You're like, okay, oh, who next week is going on a date? Who next week's going to get eliminated? Oh, I wonder what she's going to wear for the rose ceremony next week and that kind of thing. So I think it's the repetition and the storytelling techniques that is really what makes you catch on pretty quickly.
I agree, and I think also each episode is a complete picture. Like, for instance, great show, by the way, The Traitors. We watched that, and it took you about 5 episodes to understand what was going on. And
Absolutely.
And even then, you still didn't quite know what was going on, and neither did I. But you could watch an episode of The Bachelor later in the season, and you would still be able to understand what's going on. Like, each episode can
Yes.
stand on its own. I think that's nice.
Absolutely.
You deserve it to subscribe to the Rose Drop. The bell will let you know when the Rose drops. Hit that hype to send our video to the top. Please come and go ahead and drop your thoughts. Accept this rose, hit the bell so you don't miss an episode of the Rose Pod.